A mother's cry for her son. The night at Dubai hospital. The corridors of the hospital were silent until one sound broke through the air, a cry so raw, so heart shattering that every soul who heard it felt their chest tear open in pain. It was not the cry of sickness nor the cry of fear, it was the cry of a mother, Sheikh Hamdan's mother, calling out for her beloved son Fazza. Her trembling hands pressed against the cold ICU doors, her voice cracked between sobs. Ya Allah, my son, my heart, please save him. Her words echoed through the white walls, turning every corner into a chamber of grief. Doctors and nurses froze for a moment. They had seen pain before, but the cry of a mother for her child was something that tore even the strongest heart. Her tears fell like rain, her voice rose and broke again. Faza, my son, can you hear me? Her daughters rushed to her side, their own faces pale, their eyes sullen. Omi, please, you must be stronger. They whispered, though their own voices trembled. Her husband stood a feet away, his lips shaking, his eyes burning. He turned his face to the well, trying to hide the tears that escaped him. To the world, he was a ruler, but here he was just a father, a broken man praying for his son's life. Inside the ICU, Fazza lay still, surrounded by machines. Their steady beeps filled the air, a cruel rhythm between life and death. His face was calm, almost peaceful, as if he were only asleep, but outside his mother's cries fought to reach him through the glass, through the silence, through the will of fate. Ya Rab, she wept, you gave him to me. Please do not take him away. Spare my son, my Hamdan. The royal family gathered in the hallway, each soul carrying its own storm. Some held Qurans close to their hearts, others whispered verses beneath their breath. Every tear was a prayer, every breath a plea for mercy. It was not just a mother crying, it was a nation's mother crying for the soul of Dubai's beloved prince. The night outside was still, but inside the hospital, time itself felt frozen. Every tick of the clock thundered in the hearts of those waiting for news. And above all the whispers, one voice ruled the air, the voice of Fazaz's mother, breaking apart before her world. Hamdan, my son, my heartbeat, please open your eyes. His hands pressed harder against the ICU window. His tears tracing lines on the glass. Her words cut through the silence like blades, each syllable soaked in pain. Doctors approached gently. Madam, please calm down. They said softly, we are doing everything we can. But how can a mother calm down when her heart lies dying on their other side of the door? How can calmness exist when her soul is being torn from her chest? Her body shook, her feet barely holding her upright. Her daughters clung to her arms, trying to keep her from falling, yet even in weakness. Her voice rose again, trembling but fierce. She called upon Allah with every scared name she knew. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Qadir, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum. Each name was a tear, each word a sword of hope cutting through despair. Her husband, once strong as a mountain, now stood like a shadow, clutching the Quran with trembling hands. He whispered verses quality, but his eyes betrayed his grief. He could not look at his wife, nor bear the silence of his son. The sisters of Fazza wept openly. The youngest clung to her mother's dress, sobbing, Ommi, please don't cry. Hamdan will come back to us. But her tears spoke the truth. Her lips denied she was breaking too. Inside the ICU, the machines kept their steady song outside prayers rose like waves. Relatives sat on the floor reciting Quran, their voices soft but unending. Servants who had known Faza since childhood wept quietly in corners, remembering the boy who used to run through palace gardens, who grew into a man loved by all. Every tear that night was not just for a prince, it was for a son, a brother, a friend. Then her cry rose again, louder than before. Take my life, Ya Allah, but spare my son. I cannot breathe without him. Her body gave way, falling to her knees, hands raised high, her voice breaking into whispers of pain. Her daughters knelt beside her, afraid she would faint from grief, and then silence. Her voice stopped, not because her sorrow ended, but because her strength was gone. The silence was heavier than the screams. In that silence, her tears spoke louder. Ya Allah, please don't take him away. She whispered. Even the doctors paused, their hearts trembling at the scene. No signs could soothe that pain. The family stood frozen, men and women alike, each holding their breath, each praying for a miracle. Some leaned against the walls, others lifted their hands to the heavens, but all shared one pain, one plea: let him live. Hours passed, but for the royal family time stood still. The wide corridors of the hospital seemed to drown in sorrow. The mother sat on the cold floor, refusing to leave. I will not move until my son comes back to me, she whispered weakly. Her face was pale, her eyes red, but her faith refused to fade. The hospital was no longer just a building, it had become a battlefield between life and death, between hope and despair, between a mother's tears and the silence of destiny. Outside, the world carried on, unaware of the storm within those walls. But inside, every prayer carried the weight of Dubai. Every tear became a message to the heavens, every cry a symbol of love. Fazza was not alone. His mother's prayers surrounded him like light. Her tears became his shield, her love his strength. And though the night stretched endlessly, one truth remained unbroken: a mother's cry can reach the throne of heaven. And love real, love never stopped calling. Please subscribe my channel, like and share my videos.